got authorities and permission from the Vaishnavas and Sri Madan Mohan, along with glorifies about all the Vaishnavas and Luchandas Thakur and his Chaitanya Mangal, Vrindavan Das Thakur and his Chaitanya Bhagavat, and how Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Mangal got shaped. And conclusion we got that ultimately he went to Madan Mohan with all the Vaishnavas to blessings to write about the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the last paragraph of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today we're starting from chapter 9. Tam Srimad Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagadgurum Yashyani Kampaya Swapi Mahabdim Santarit Sukam. So let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual master of the entire world, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even a dog can swim across a great ocean. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is telling that first what I do, I offer my most respectful obeisances to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and only by his mercy a dog can swim and cross the ocean. Jaya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Gaura Chandra Jaya Jaya Advaita Jaya Jaya Nityananda. All glories to Sri Krishna, who is known as Gaura Hari. All glories to Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu. Jai Jai Srivashadi Gaura Bhaktagan Sarva Vishta Purti Hetu Jahara Smaran. All glories to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, headed by Srivas Thakura. In order to fulfill all my desires, I remember their lotus feet. Sri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jib Gopal Bhattu Das Raghunath. I also remember the 6 Goswamis, Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jib Gopal Bhattu and Das Raghunath. So this is the process of writing transcendental literature. As Srila Prabhupada is explaining that a sentimentalist who has no Vaishnava qualifications cannot produce transcendental writings. Nowadays we can see so many writers, so many authors, material authors who doesn't have any knowledge about spirituality and Guru Bhakti and Krishna Bhakti, but they start writing about Shastra, like they're writing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they write about Jagannath, they write about Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's divine pastimes, but they don't have any knowledge about the Guru Parampara and Vaishnava. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining there are many fools who consider Krishna Lila to be a subject of art and who write a paint picture about the pastimes of Lord Krishna with the gopis, sometimes depicting them in a manner practically obscene. These fools take pleasure in material sense gratification, but one who wants to make advancement in spiritual life must scrupulously avoid their literature, unless one is a great servant of Krishna and the Vaishnavas. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami presents himself to be offering respects to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his associates and his disciples. One should not attempt to write transcendental literature. Eshab Prasadi Liki Chaitanya Lila Gun Jani Ba Na Jani Kori Yapana Shudan. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is telling that I will write this transcendental literature, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only with the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his disciples. Eshab Likite Chaitanya Lila Gun. So it is by the mercy of all the Vaishnavas and Gurus that I attempt to write about the pastimes of qualities of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whether I know it or know not. It is for self-purification that I write this book. So Vaishnava, although he is following the instruction of Guru and Vaishnava and the Lord Krishna himself, Still, he considered that I will not prepare this, I will not write this for the, for the consideration of the general people. For my own purification, I will write this book. So, Malakaro Swayam Krishna Prema Turu Swayam Data Bhukta Tatfalanam Yastam Chaitanyam Ashray. I take shelter to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who himself is the tree of transcendental love of Krishna, its gardener and also the bestower and enjoyer of its fruits. Data Bhukta Tatfalanam Yastam Chaitanyam Ashray. प्रभु कहे आमी विश्वम्बर नाम धरी नाम सार्थक है यदि प्रेम विश्वभरी. So Lord Chaitanya thought, my name is Vishwambar, one who maintains the entire universe. Its meaning will be actualized if I can fill the whole universe with love of Godhead. Eto chinti Lila Prabhu malakar dharma navaddipe arambila faladan karma. So thinking in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the duty of a planter and began to grow a garden in Navadvip. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initially as Nimai Pandit, so he started his garden in Navadvip because he born in Navadvip, appeared in Navadvip Dham. So his preaching mission was started from Navadvip. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining that Mahaprabhu is a Malakar. Malakar means gardener, and who started his revolution from Navadvip only. Sri Chaitanya Malakar Pritibhityani Bhakti Kalpataru Rupila Sinchi Chapani. Thus the Lord brought the desired tree of devotional service to this earth and became its gardener. He showed the seed and sprinkled upon it in the water of his will. Jai Sri Madhavpuri Krishna Premapur Bhakti Kalpatarur Teha Pratam Ankur. All glories to Sri Madhavendrapuri, the storehouse of all devotional service unto Krishna. He is the desired tree of devotional service, and it is in him that the seed of devotional service first fructified. Then he is explaining about Madhavendrapuri. And Madhavendrapuri is known also Sri Madhavpuri, belonged to the disciple succession from Madhavaracharya and was a great celebrated sannyasi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the third disciple descendant from Sri Madhavendrapuri. So Madhavendrapuri and his disciple is Ishwarpuri, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the disciple of Ishwarpuri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Swayam Krishna. He takes initiation from Ishwarpuri to taught the people. So the process of worship in the disciplic succession of Madhavacharya was full of ritualistic ceremonies with hardly a sign of love of Godhead. Sri Madhavendrapuri was the first person in the disciplic succession to exhibit the symptoms of love of Godhead and the first to write a poem beginning with the words of Aidina Dayadranath, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. In that poem is the seed of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cultivation of love of Godhead. Sri Ishwarpuri Rupe Ankur Pushta Haila Apone Chaitanya Mali Skanda Upajila. The seed of devotional service next fructified in the form of Sri Ishwarpuri, and then the gardener himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, became the main trunk of the tree of devotional service. Although the seed of devotion Ishwarpuri Rupe Ankur Pushta, the first disciple of Madhavendrapuri is Ishwarpuri, and through the Ishwarpuri, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually trunk the tree of devotional service. So Ishwarpuri appeared in a Brahmana family and was the most beloved disciple of Srila Madhavendrapuri. In the last portion of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, it is stated, Ishwarpuri Goshai Kare Sri Pada Sevan Swahaste Karen Mala Mutradi Marjan निरंतर कृष्ण नाम करय स्मरण, कृष्ण नाम कृष्ण लीला सुनय अनुक्षण, तुष्ट हन पुरी तारे कोइला आलिंगन, वर दिला कृष्ण तुम्हार হোক প্রেমদন, সেই হইতে ঈশ্বরপুরী প্রেমের সাগর. So how Ishwarpuri served his spiritual master, his guru, it is mentioned in the last in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila. At the last stage of his life of Srila Madhavendra Puri became an invalid and was completely unable to move. And Ishwar Puri so completely engaged himself in his service that he personally cleaned up his stool and urine. This is the teachings and learning from all the Vaishnavas, all the devotees, how to serve Guru. And if it is a great opportunity that to serve physically, Bapu Seva, if you get the chance, if we get the chance to serve Bapu, to our spiritual master, we should learn from the parampara and disciplic succession how they have served the spiritual masters, and they taught us through their own example. So Ishwarpuri completely engaged himself in the service of his Guru, and he cleansed up the stool and urine, always chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and reminding Sri Madhavendra Puri about the pastimes of Lord Krishna in the last stage of his life. Ishwar Puri gave the best service among his disciples. Thus Madhavendra Puri, being very pleased with him, blessed him, saying, "My dear boy, I can only pray to Krishna that he will be pleased with you." Thus, Ishwar Puri, with the grace of his spiritual master, Sri Madhavendra Puri, became a great devotee in the ocean of love of Godhead. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti states in his Guru Vashtaka prayers, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasada, Yasya prasadan na kuta api. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is blessed by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. So it is by the mercy of the spiritual master that one becomes perfect. Je prasade pure sarvasha. Only with the serving and pleasing to spiritual master, one can attain the perfection of Krishna Prem, the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the secret of Krishna Prem is the serve to Guru and to please to Guru. So Nija Chinta Shuktamala Hayya Kanskandha Shakal Shakarshi Skandamalashraya. So by his inconceivable powers, the Lord became the gardener, the trunk and the branches simultaneously. Paramananda Puriyar Keshav Bharati, Brahmananda Puriyar Brahmananda Bharati, Vishnu Puri Keshav Puri Puri Krishnananda, Srinishingha Tirthavar Puri Sukananda, Ei Nabamul Nika Shilabrikka Mule, Ei Nabamule Brikka Karina Nischale. So Paramananda Puri, Keshav Bharati, Brahmananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati, Sri Vishnu Puri, Keshav Puri, Krishnananda Puri, Sri Narasimha Tirtha, Sukananda Puri. These 9 sannyasi roots all sprouted from the trunk of the tree. Thus the tree stood steadfastly on the strength of these 9 roots. Madhyamul Paramananda Puri Mahadir, Ashtadike Ashtamul Brikka Hailastir. With the sober and the grave, Paramananda Puri is the central root and the other 8 roots in the 8 directions. The tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood firmly. Skander Upare Bahu Shaka Upajila, Upari Shaka Ashankahila. From the trunk grew many branches, and above them innumerable others. Vish Shaka Kari Eka Mandal, Maha Shaka Taila Brahmanda Shakal. Thus the branches of the Chaitanya tree formed as cluster of society, with great branches covering all with the universe. Our International Society for Krishna Consciousness is one of the branches of the Chaitanya tree. Srila Prabhupada is telling in his purport about the Shaka Vriksha of Chaitanya tree. So, Ekoiko Shakate Upa Shaka Shata Shata Jato Upajilo Shaka Ke Gonibe Kata. So, from each branch grew many hundreds of sub branches. No one count how many branches does grow. Mukko Mukko Shaka Goner Nam Aganan Age Tokari Bashunok Brikker Varnan. I shall try to name the foremost of the innumerable branches. Please hear the description of the Chaitanya tree. Brikker Upore Shaka Hailo Dui Skanda Ek Advaita Nam Ar Nitvananda. So the top of the tree, the trunk branches into two. One trunk was named Sri Advaita Prabhu and the other name was Nitvananda Prabhu. সেই দুই স্কন্দে প্রভু শাখা উপজিল তার উপর শাখাগণে জগৎ চাইল. From these two trunks grew many branches and sub-branches that covered the entire world. বড় শাখা উপশাখা তার উপশাখা যত উপজিল তার কে করিবে লেখা. These branches and sub-branches and their sub-branches became so numerous that no one can actually write about them. শিষ্য প্রশিষ্য আর উপশিষ্যগণ জগৎ ব্যাপিল তার নাহিক গণন. Thus the disciples and the grand disciples and their admirers spread throughout the entire world, and it is not possible to enumerate all them. উড়ম্বর বৃক্ষ যেন ফলে সর্ব অঙ্গে এই মত ভক্তির বৃক্ষে সর্বত্র ফল লাগে. As a big fig tree bears fruits all over its body, each part of the tree of devotional service bore fruit. So this tree of devotional service is not of this material world. It grows in the spiritual world, where there is no distinction between one part of the body and another. It is something like a tree of sugar, for whichever part of such a tree one tastes, it is always sweet. The tree of bhakti has varieties of branches, leaves, fruits, but they are all meant for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are 9 different processes of devotional service: Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. But all of these are meant only for the service of Supreme Lord. Therefore, whether one hears, chants, remembers, worships, his activities will yield the same result. Which one of these process will be the most suitable for a particular devotee depends upon his taste. So, any types of devotional service from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. Srila Prabhupada is telling that as per your suitable taste and respects, any kinds of service, if you engage, you will get the same result. Like someone may be interested in hearing, someone can chant, someone can kirtan, someone can seva. So any types of this 9 service, if you are interested, so you can do that. Accordingly, Krishna will reciprocate us. And মূল স্কন্দের শাখা আর উপশাখা গণে লাগিলা যে প্রেম ফল অমৃতকে জিনে. Since Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the original trunk, the taste of the fruits that grew on the branches and sub-branches surpassed the taste of the nectar. পাকিল যে প্রেম ফল অমৃত মধুর বিলায় চৈতন্য মালি নাহি লয় মূল. The fruits ripened and became sweet and nectarian. The gardener Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed them without asking any price. ত্রিজগতে আছে যত ধন রত্ন মণি এক ফলের মূল্য করি তাহা নাহি গণি. All the wealth in the 3 worlds cannot equal the value of one such nectarian fruit of devotional service. मागे बा ना मागे के हो पात्र बा अपात्र इहार विचार नहीं जाने दय मात्र. not considering who asked for it and who did not, nor who was fit and who unfit to receive it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed the fruit of devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada is telling this is the sum and substance of Chaitanya's Sankirtana movement. चैतन्य संकीर्तन मूवमेंट क्या है? पात्र अपात्र विचार नहीं करे and मागे भाग ना मागे के हो. If you are asking or not asking, still you will get the blessings, you will get the fruit of devotional service only by the connected with the Hare Krishna movement. So there is no distinction made between those who are fit and those who are not fit to hear and take part of the Sankirtan movement. So we see sometimes and many of times while the devotees of Sankirtan movement do the Sankirtan in the street, so many of them are interested to hear, many of them are not interested to hear, but still they get the blessings, still they get the Chaitanya's Dibbanam Sankirtan, and it is enacting in their heart and to connect. So that's how Srila Prabhupada only purpose of the preachers of the Sankirtan movement must be go on preaching without restriction. That is the way in which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the Sankirtan movement in the world. Anjali Anjali Bari Fele Chaturdishe Daridra Kudaya Khai Malakar Hashe. The transcendental gardener Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed handful after handful of fruit in all directions. And when the poor hungry people ate the fruit, the gardener smiled with great pleasure. Malakar kahe shuna vriksha parivar, mol shaka upashaka jateka prakar. Lord Chaitanya thus addressed the multifarious varieties of branches and sub-branches of the tree of devotional service. अलौकिक वृक्क करे सर्वेन्द्रिय कर्म स्थावर होइया दरे जंगमे धर्म. Since the tree of devotional service is transcendental, everyone its part can perform the action of all the others. Although a tree is supposed to be immovable, this tree nevertheless moves. It is our experience in the material world that trees stand in one place, but in the spiritual world a tree can go from one place to another. Therefore everything in the spiritual world is called alaukika, uncommon and transcendental. Another feature of such a tree is that it can act universally. In the material world the roots of a tree go deep within the earth to gather food, but in the spiritual world the twigs, branches and leaves of the upper portion of the tree can act like the roots. ए वृक्ष रंग है सब सचेतन बाड़िया बेपिल सबे सकल भुवन. All of the parts of these trees are spiritually cognizant, and thus as they grow they spread all over the world. एकला मालाकार आमी कहाँ कहाँ जाबो एकला आबा कत फल पाड़िया बिलाबो. So I am the only gardener who is telling Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu how many places I can go and कितनी जगह में जा पाऊंगा, how many fruits can I pick and distribute, and कितना fruits मैं वहाँ से तोड़ूंगा and बांटूंगा. So this is the indication, this is the instructions to everyone to participate in this Sankirtan movement and participate to pick and distribute the fruits of devotional service, Krishna Prema. Here Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indicates that the distribution of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be performed and combined forces. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he laments, how can I act alone? How can I alone pick the fruits and distribute it all over the world? This indicates that all classes of devotees should combine to distribute the Hare Krishna Mahamantra without consideration of the time, place and situation. Eklava Kotafol Padiya Bilaba. So it is all our responsibility to participate the Sankirtan movement and preach Krishna consciousness in whatever capacity. একলা উঠাইয়া দিতে হয় পরিশ্রম, কেহ পায় কেহ না পায়, রহে মনে ভ্রম. So it would certainly be a very laborious task to pick the fruits and distribute them alone. And still I can suspect that some would receive them and other would not. So keho pai keho na pai rahe mane brahm. Prabhu is telling that I can suspect, sometimes I feel that few of them are receiving and few of them are not receiving it. So how can I count such numbers? অতএব আমি আজ্ঞা দিলু সবাকারে, যাহা তাহা প্রেম ফল দেহ যারে তারে. And Mahaprabhu instructs everyone ki I am instructing all you everyone. I order every man within the universe to accept this Krishna consciousness movement and distribute it everywhere. Jaha taha bilao. So in this connection there is a song sung by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. এনেছি ঔষধি মায়া নাশিবার লাগি, হরি নাম মহামন্ত্র লও তুমি মাগি. ভকতি বিনোদ প্রভু চরণে পড়িয়া, সেই হরি নাম মন্ত্র লইল মাগিয়া. The Sankirtan movement has been introduced by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just to dispel the illusion of Maya, by which everyone in this material world thinks himself to be product of material matter and therefore to have many duties pertaining to the body. Actually, the living entity is not his material body. He is a spirit soul. He has a spiritual need to be eternally blissful and full of knowledge. But unfortunately, he identifies himself within the body. Sometimes as a human being, sometimes as an animal, sometimes as a tree, sometimes an aquatic, sometimes as a demigod, and so on. একলা মালাকার আমি কত ফল খাব, না দিয়া এই ফল আর কি করিব. So I am the only gardener. If I do not distribute these fruits, what shall I do with him? How many fruits alone I can eat? So this is a instruction. This is an preacher parampara, preacher dharma. प्रचारक का धर्म यही है. So distribute. प्रचारक को स्वाद व टेस्ट मिलता है यही पर जब हम बांटते हैं दूसरों को. एक स्वीट, एक रसगुल्ला और एक फ्रूट्स, 2 फ्रूट्स, 4 फ्रूट्स, हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 10 फ्रूट्स खा सकते हैं. आफ्टर दैट अगर मेरे पास लाखों फ्रूट्स है, हजारों फ्रूट्स है, तो हम इसका क्या करेंगे? बांटना ही बेस्ट है. तो फिर महाप्रभु ऑल्सो टेलिंग दैट इफ आई डू नॉट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट दिस फ्रूट्स, व्हाट शैल आई डू विद दैम? मैं क्या करूँ इसका? हाउ मेनी फ्रूट्स आई कैन अलोन ईट? कितना फ्रूट्स मैं खा सकता हूँ अकेला? सो आत्मैच्छामृते वृक्षो सिंची निरंतर, ताहा ते असंख्य फल वृक्षेर ऊपर. By the transcendental desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, water has been sprinkled all over the tree, and thus there are innumerable fruits of love of Godhead. Ashankha fruits, ashankha fal, and that fruits, innumerable fruits of love of Godhead. Atma Ichha Mrite Brikko Sinchi Nirantar. The transcendental desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, water has been sprinkled all over the tree. तो उसमें पानी देने का कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो ऑटोमेटिक स्प्रिंकल करता है पानी. অতএব সব ফল দেহ যারে তারে, খাইয়া হোক লোক অজর অমরে. Distribute this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Let people eat these fruits and ultimately become free from old age and death. The Krishna consciousness movement introduced by Lord Chaitanya is extremely important because one who takes to it becomes eternal, being freed from birth, death, and old age. People do not recognize that the real distress in life are the 4 principles of birth, death, old age, and disease. They are so foolish that they resign themselves to these 4 miseries, not knowing the transcendental remedy of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from misery. But because they are enchanted by the illusory energy, people do not take this movement seriously. Therefore, those who are actually servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must seriously distribute this movement all over the world to render the greatest benefit to human society. Of course, animals and other lower species are not capable to understanding this movement, but even if a small number of human beings take it seriously, then by their enchanting loudly, all living entities, including even trees, animals, and other lower species, will be benefited. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired from Haridas Thakur how he was to benefit living entities other than humans, Srila Haridas Thakur replied that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so potent that if it is chanted loudly, everyone will benefit, including the lower species of life. জগৎ ব্যাপী আমার হবে পুণ্য খ্যাতি সুখ হইয়া লোক আমার গাইবে কীর্তি. So if the fruits are distributed all over the world, my reputation as a pious man will be known everywhere. It is Mahaprabhu is telling this. And thus all people will glorify my name with great pleasure. ভারত ভূমিতে হইল মনুষ্য জন্ম যার জন্ম সার্থক করি কর পর উপকার. This is for us, personally for every Bharatiyas. One who has taken this birth as a human being in the land of India, one should make life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. भारत भूमिते मनुष्य हईल जन्म जार जन्म सार्थक करी कर पर उपकार. So first responsibility is to make successful in our life through connecting with the Hare Krishna movement and to start service Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And second thing is to work for the benefit of other, paro upakar. एतद् जन्म साफल्यम देहिनाम इह जनिषु प्राणैरर्थ दिया वाचा श्रेय आचरणम सदा. So it is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence, and words. There are two kinds of general activities. Shreyas are activities which are ultimately beneficial and auspicious, and prayas. Shreyos and prayos. Shreyas means activities which are ultimately beneficial and auspicious, and prayers are those which are immediately beneficial and auspicious. For example, children are fond of playing. They do not want to go to school and receive an education, and they think that to play all day and night and enjoy with their friends is the aim of life. Even in the transcendental life of Lord Krishna, we find that when he was a child, he was very fond of playing with his friends of all the same age. The coward boys, he would not even go home to take his dinner. Mother Vasudha would have to come out to induce him to come home. Thus, it is a child's nature to engage all day and night in playing, not caring even for his health and other important concerns. This is an example of prayers. In this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that one should be interested in Shreyas. To achieve the ultimate goal of Shreyas or good fortune, one should engage everything, including his life, wealth, and words, not only for himself but also for others. However, unless one is interested in Shreyas in his own life, he cannot preach of Shreyas for the benefit of others. Praninam पुकाराय यादवे परत्र च कर्मणा मनसा भाषा तदेव मतिमान व्रजेत. By his work, thoughts, and words, an intelligent man must perform actions which will be beneficial for all living entities in this life and the next. মালি মনুষ্য আমার নাহি রাজ্যদন, ফলমূল দিয়া করি পুণ্য উপার্জন। I am merely a gardener. I have neither a kingdom nor very great riches. I simply have some fruits and flowers that I wish to utilize to achieve pity in my life. মালি হইয়া বৃক্ষ হইলা এই তো ইচ্ছাতে, সর্ব প্রাণীর উপকার হয় বৃক্ষ হইতে। Although I am acting as a gardener, I also want to be the tree, for thus I can bestow benefit upon all. ओहो येषां वरं जन्म सर्वप्राणोपजीविनां, सुजनेष्वैव येषां वै विमुखा यान्ति नार्तिना. Just see how these trees are maintaining every living entity. Their birth is successful. Their behavior is just like that of great personalities, or for anyone who asks anything from a tree never goes away disappointed. According to Vedic civilization, Kshatriyas are considered to be great personalities because if anyone goes to a Kshatriya king to ask for charity, refuse. The trees are compared to those noble Kshatriyas because everyone derives all kinds of benefits from them. Some people take fruit, other takes flowers, other take leaves, other take twigs, and other even cut the tree. And yet the tree gives to everyone without hesitation. এই আজ্ঞা কইল যদি চৈতন্য মালাকার, পরম আনন্দ পাইল বৃক্ষ পরিবার. The descendants of the tree, the devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, were very glad to receive this order directly from the Lord. সেই যাহা তাহা দান করে প্রেম ফল, ফল আস্বাদে মত্ত লোক হইল সকল. The fruit of love of God is so delicious that wherever a devotee distributes it, those who relish the fruit anywhere in the world immediately becomes intoxicated. মহামাদক প্রেম ফল পেট ভরি খায়, মাতিল সকল লোক নাচে হাসে গায়. The fruit of love distributed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is such a great intoxicant that anyone who eats it, filling his belly, immediately becomes maddened by it, and automatically he chants, dances, laughs, and enjoys. কেহ গোড়া গড়ি যায়, কেহ তহুঙ্কার, দেখি আনন্দিত হইয়া হাসে মালাকার. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great gardener, sees that people are chanting, dancing, and laughing, and that some of them are rolling on the floor and some are making loud humming sounds, he smiles with great pleasure. এই মালাকার কায় এই প্রেম ফল, নিরবধি মত্ত রহে বিবশ বিভল. The great gardener Lord Chaitanya personally eats that fruit, and as a result constantly remains mad, as if helpless and bewildered. It is the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to act himself and teach to people. He says, Apani achari bhakti karila prachar. So one must first act himself and then teach. This is the function of a real teacher. Unless one is able to understand the philosophy that it speaks, it will not be effective. Therefore, one should not only understand the philosophy of the Chaitanya cult, but also implement it practically in one's life. While chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sometimes fainted and remained unconscious for many hours. He prays in his Shikshashtaka, Yugayitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrishayitam Sunnayitam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename. O Govinda, feeling its separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. This is the perfectional stage of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and eating the fruit of love of Godhead, as exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One should not artificially imitate this stage, but if one is serious and sincerely follows the regulative principle and chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the time will come when these symptoms will appear. Tears will fill his eyes. he will be unable to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra distinctly, and his heart will throb in ecstasy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that one should not imitate this, but a devotee should long for the day to come when such symptoms of trance will automatically appear in his body. सर्वलोके मत्त कैला आपन समान प्रेमे मत्त लोक बिना नहीं देखियान. With the Sankirtan movement, the Lord made everyone made like himself. We do not find anyone who was not intoxicated by his Sankirtan movement. जे जे पूर्वे निंदा कइला बोली मातवाल सेहो फल खाए नाचे बोले बालो बाल. Persons who had formerly criticized Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, calling him a drunkard, also ate the fruit and began to dance. Say, very good, very good. जो लोग पहले निंदा करते हैं वो एक बार कृष्ण भक्ति में जोड़ने के बाद वही बोलते हैं यही सबसे स्वादिष्ट है, यही सबसे उत्तम. So this is the the transcendental special good side of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Everyone became the fan once it is connected with them. এই তো কহিল প্রেম ফল বিতরণ এবে শুনো ফল দাতা যে যে শাখাগণ. After describing the Lord's distribution of the fruit of love of Godhead, I now wish to describe the different branches of the tree of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Rupa Raghunath Pade Jarash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrates Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 9th chapter, describing the desired tree of devotional service. So here it is completed, chapter 9. So basically I do the Chaitanya Charitamrita reading every morning, and I started this live streaming because to maintain my own consistency and sincerity. So with this live streaming, I will be very responsible that I have to read Chaitanya Charitamrita every morning. So this is for my own desire, this is for my own satisfaction. This is not to introduce others that I am reading Chaitanya Charitamrita every morning. So not for that. So I seek all your blessings whoever watching this video, and thank you all your kind shelter to me, and I am so fortunate to be here in Hare Krishna movement, the Briksha, Chaitanya Briksha, and your kind blessings and benediction I would try to serve in this Chaitanya movement. Please bless me. Hare Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.